Imagine you're on vacation in a tropical paradise, walking among exotic trees when you notice someone singing while picking fruit hanging from a branch. You pick it, take a bite, and just a few minutes later, you suddenly start convulsing, feeling confused, and you can't understand what's really happening. In our world, there really are fruits that are extremely poisonous, even deadlier than snake venom. And what's even scarier is that most of them look innocent, sweet, colorful, and really seem very healthy. But inside them, they hide toxins, cyanide, neurotoxins, and deadly traps created by nature to protect themselves. Today, you will learn about 10 of the most dangerous fruits in the world. So get ready, because after watching this, you'll never look at fruit the same way again. But before we start, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so you'll always be updated with videos like this. There is Number 10, Starfruit Carambola. With its star-like shape, bright color, and unique taste that's between sweet and sour, the starfruit, or carambola, looks like an innocent tropical fruit. It's often used in salads, juices, even in gourmet dishes. But behind its perfect shape, there's a hidden, invisible danger. A danger that can be deadly for some people. This fruit contains a natural neurotoxin. For healthy people, it's usually not a problem, because the kidneys remove this toxin. However, for people with chronic kidney disease, even a small piece is enough to start a silent but harmful reaction inside the body. When the kidneys can no longer flush out the toxin, it accumulates in the blood and reaches the brain, where it affects the central nervous system. Symptoms appear quickly: persistent hiccups, muscle weakness, vomiting, confusion, and in more severe cases, seizures, coma, and even death. What's even more concerning is that many people with kidney problems don't know that this fruit is forbidden for them. A single glass of starfruit juice can really lead to a medical emergency. There are hospital reports where patients with kidney disease had to be rushed for emergency dialysis just because they tasted starfruit. The problem gets worse because of its delicious taste and unique appearance, making it popular in tropical places, markets, and especially among tourists who try it without any knowledge of the danger. Even though it's not the most poisonous fruit in the world, it's one of the most dangerous because it doesn't affect everyone the same way. It might be safe for you, but deadly for others, and often it's too late before they realize it. So if you have kidney problems, stay away from it. And if you don't, share this information, because starfruit, funny as it may sound, can take a life. Wild cherry seed. Bright red, attractive, and really almost impossible to resist. Wild cherries really seem like something out of a fantasy story. They grow in clusters with juicy and sweet flesh that truly delights the taste buds. The fragrance of the fresh fruit really invites you to take a bite, then another and another, until you don't even notice it anymore. For many, picking cherries straight from the tree is one of the simple joys that nature offers. But what almost no one knows, what is easy to miss amid such beauty, is that there is a deadly poison hidden inside its tiny pit. The seed of the wild cherry contains chemicals called cyanogenic glycosidase, especially amygdalin, a substance that, when chewed or crushed, releases hydrogen cyanide. This same poisonous gas prevents the body from using oxygen, slowly suffocating the cells and quickly shutting down vital systems. What's even scarier is that it doesn't take many seeds for the damage to start happening. At first, the symptoms may just seem like simple discomfort: vomiting, dizziness, headache. These are signs that are easy to ignore or attribute to other causes. But once enough poison has been ingested or consumed, it acts quickly. It attacks the respiratory system, weakens the muscles, makes breathing difficult, and in severe cases can cause muscle paralysis. All of this happens because oxygen is literally taken away from the body, which needs it to survive. Often the danger lies in something that is usually thrown away or ignored: the small seed in the middle of the fruit. There are people who bite into the seed to taste its bitter flavor, which is similar to bitter almond. And although chewing a single seed rarely causes death, Just a handful is enough to cause severe poisoning, especially if the seeds are crushed and more poison is released. The risk is higher for children because their bodies are smaller and their metabolism is faster, so the effects of the poison are more severe. For them, just 2 or 3 chewed seeds can cause a serious medical emergency that requires immediate treatment. That's why it's very important for parents to be vigilant, especially when children are playing in areas where this type of cherry grows. In addition, cyanide poisoning doesn't only come from wild cherry. It can also come from other similar fruits and seeds such as apricot, peach, and plum, which also contain the same chemical. What makes these even more dangerous is the fact that the flesh of these fruits is delicious, safe, and appealing, which means the danger inside remains hidden. Historically, knowledge about the poisonous potential of cherry seeds has existed for many centuries. There were ancient cultures that used extracts from these seeds as medicine or even as poison in rituals. Today, we know that the accidental ingestion of these seeds is still a common cause of poisoning among children in rural areas where these trees are widespread. The lack of information and the common practice of letting children play with fruits from nature put them at risk, which could have been avoided through simple precautions. To prevent accidents, it is recommended that parents closely supervise children when visiting areas where wild cherry trees grow and teach them not to put the seeds in their mouths. Fruits for eating should be prepared with care and seeds disposed of immediately. In urban areas, schools and daycare centers can include this kind of information in their activities about environmental education and health. It is noticeable that despite the risks, wild cherries still have real ecological and nutritional importance. They serve as food for different kinds of birds and small animals. And when these animals eat the whole fruit, the seeds are spread in the environment, helping the trees to multiply. This natural relationship shows that the poison is a kind of evolutionary defense to prevent animals from chewing the seed, while allowing others to carry and spread it whole. So next time you see a cherry tree full of beautiful, shiny, and colorful fruits, remember, not everything natural is safe. That seemingly innocent snack from the forest can actually be a silent yet deadly weapon. Recognizing and respecting nature is an important step to avoid accidents and protect our health, especially that of children. Developing this kind of awareness can save lives and ensure that the beauty of the wild cherry remains attractive and never becomes a threat. Number 8, apricot seed. They look like small, sweet, and innocent orange gems. Apricot is a popular fruit often used in desserts, jams, and juice. However, inside each one, there's a hidden hard seed that resembles an almond right in the center of the fruit. And this seed can be pure poison if eaten. The apricot seed contains a natural substance called amygdalin. That seems typical, and for some it doesn't appear harmful. However, when amygdalin comes into contact with acid, it turns into cyanide, and that's no joke. At high doses, it can block the body's ability to use oxygen, causing the cells to suffocate, leading to unconsciousness and, in some cases, death. There are some people, especially those who believe in natural remedies or alternative therapies for various illnesses, who promote eating these seeds because of their supposed medicinal benefits. However, the medical reality is very different. A single seed is rarely fatal, but if many are eaten at the same time, it can cause serious effects such as nausea, vomiting, dizziness, convulsions, and if not treated immediately, it can be fatal. The most ironic thing is that its seeds have a slightly bitter taste similar to almonds. That's why it becomes appealing to people who are unaware of its dangers. Some even crush them and mix them into smoothies or sell them as a natural supplement. But the danger still lurks in every small seed. Because of this, health authorities in different countries have issued clear warnings that eating apricot seeds in large amounts is not safe. However, many people still believe in the risky idea that if something is natural, it is automatically safe. A dangerous belief. So next time you eat an apricot, remember, danger isn't always visible. Sometimes it's hidden right in the middle of the fruit, just waiting to be set free with one bite. Number 7, green jackfruit. Large, unique, and eye-catching, the jackfruit is known as one of the largest fruits in the world. Its skin is green and covered with bumps, and inside it has yellow, sweet, and very fibrous flesh that has become popular as a favorite vegan meat substitute. But what most people don't know is that this giant fruit can pose a silent threat to health, especially if eaten raw or not prepared properly. When unripe, jackfruit contains compounds that can affect blood clotting. This means that people with platelet problems, bleeding disorders, or those taking blood thinners may experience bleeding that's really hard to stop. A simple injury can become dangerous, and in severe cases, internal bleeding can lead to death. Jackfruit is also associated with severe allergic reactions, especially in people who are sensitive to natural latex. This is not a coincidence. Jackfruit and latex have similar proteins, which can cause a severe cross-reaction. This reaction may start as simple irritation, but it can also lead to anaphylaxis, a severe and life-threatening allergic reaction that can be fatal within just a few minutes. What's more concerning is that many people don't know they have this sensitivity until the first time they try jackfruit. Just one bite is enough to suddenly trigger an allergic attack. And although ripe jackfruit is safe for most people, green jackfruit, which hasn't developed its sweet taste yet, is the most dangerous. It's surprising because this version is the one most often used as a meat substitute due to its fibers that resemble meat. So if you're planning to try this giant fruit, make sure you do it with enough knowledge. Because behind its tropical taste and impressive appearance, jackfruit has a hidden danger that your body might feel in a very short time. Number 6. Sweet sorghum. In the vast fields where the sun is intense, the heat blazes, and the wind moves the plants like green waves, there grows a type of plant that many consider harmless and useful, but that's a mistake. This is sweet sorghum, which is planted in different parts of the world as animal feed for making biofuel and even as a substitute for sugar. But it has a dark secret that almost no one knows. Under certain environmental conditions, such as prolonged drought or sudden changes in temperature, this seemingly innocent plant can produce cyanide. And yes, the same deadly poison used in wars, executions, and the dark parts of history. When sorghum is stressed, it releases a substance called durin, which, when broken down or metabolized in the human body, turns into hydrocyanic acid, a chemical that is extremely poisonous. It can stop cellular respiration in just a few minutes. Without oxygen, the organs fail, the heart stops, and death comes quickly. Over the years, there have been many recorded cases of poisoning, especially in rural areas where raw sorghum was eaten without knowing it was contaminated. In many of these incidents, the livestock died first before people were affected. And what's even more frightening is that the color or taste of the sorghum doesn't change, even when it's full of cyanide. You can chew it, taste its natural sweetness, and you won't notice anything unusual. But inside your body, you've already ingested an invisible, silent, and deadly poison. Despite this, sweet sorghum continues to be planted and eaten because when processed correctly, it is safe. But if you eat it directly from the field, without proper preparation, and you don't know its source or the conditions in which it was grown, it's like you're playing with fire. This is a plant that can give either sugar or death from a single stalk. That's the way nature is, beautiful, nutritious, and deadly when you least expect it. Number 5. Nutmeg. You probably have one of these in your kitchen, forgotten at the back of your spice rack. You use this as a flavoring for champorado, arroz caldo, fruit salad, or cakes and drinks during Christmas. But what you might not know is that this small, fragrant seed is one of the most dangerous fruits in the world when consumed in excess. And yes, we're talking about nutmeg, and that's really not an exaggeration. Although it's completely safe in small amounts, just 1 tablespoon of ground nutmeg is enough to cause serious harm to the body. When consumed in large amounts, nutmeg becomes a powerful psychoactive substance. Its active ingredients, especially myristicin, alter the brain's chemistry. The result? Intense hallucinations, paranoia, severe anxiety, and temporary psychosis. In the worst-case scenario, it can lead to convulsions, coma, and death. What's even more concerning is that in recent years, more young people have been using nutmeg recreationally, thinking it's a natural way to alter their minds, even though it's prohibited. But what starts with an innocent spoonful can turn into a neurological nightmare. The body can't process this much nutmeg all at once. The liver fails, the heartbeat dangerously speeds up, and the nervous system goes haywire. Nutmeg has been documented in many hospitals as a cause of severe poisoning. There are reports of people dying after consuming it, just by mixing it with milk or yogurt, believing it had no harmful effects. And the scariest part is, it's really very easy to access. You don't need to go to distant forests or taste exotic fruits. Just a spoonful of seasoning and one wrong decision is enough. So next time you add a little bit of nutmeg to your favorite drink or dessert, remember, a little makes it taste better. But a spoonful could open the gates of hell. Fruit. On the islands of the Pacific, where the beaches are white sand and the oceans are endless, there are fruits that grow which many consider as sacred heritage from their ancestors. It is shaped like a round pineapple made up of segments that glisten like orange and red gems under the sun. And its name is challah fruit. Despite its innocent and beautiful appearance, this fruit hides a deadly trap within its fibers. For many centuries, the Polynesians have used this as food, medicine, and even in rituals. However, this is not for everyone. The challah fruit does not spare the careless. Its texture is even rough, and each piece is full of tough and fibrous strands that can act like blades if not chewed carefully. Just one wrong bite can have serious consequences: internal throat injuries, bleeding, and even the risk of choking. The fibers can get stuck, swell, and block the airway. There have been reported cases of people being hospitalized just for underestimating this fruit. What's even more unusual is that it's often not the locals who fall victim, but tourists and food adventurers who see the fruit hanging from a tree and assume it's just another common tropical delicacy. They eat it without knowing that what they're putting in their mouths could be the start of a nightmare. On top of that, the challah fruit has a sweet and enticing taste, a mix of pineapple and mango. That's why it becomes even more dangerous, because it encourages you to keep eating more and more without any warning. It's like a trap set by nature itself. Beautiful, delicious, and deadly if not respected. So if you ever find yourself on the shores of Micronesia, Fiji, or Hawaii, and you see this fruit glistening in the sand, remember, sometimes the most beautiful things in nature know how to defend themselves and show no mercy to the curious. Peace out. Number 3, raw cashew nut. At first glance, it really just looks like a small and simple seed. It has a stone-like curve, a hard shell, and hides a snack that many people enjoy. But when eaten raw, it can be a silent sentence to death. What we're talking about is raw cashew nut, also known as the Philippine cashew, and its story is as toxic as it is surprising. Although millions of people eat it every day around the world, very few actually know that in its natural form, this nut is extremely poisonous. The reason is it contains urushiol, the same chemical found in poison ivy, the plant that causes painful rashes even with just a touch. When raw cashew nuts are eaten, a chemical mixture enters the body that can cause internal burns, severe irritation, and in extreme cases, irreversible liver damage. Urushiol acts quickly, attacking the digestive system, causing blisters, vomiting, and in the most severe cases, it can lead to liver failure within just a few hours. And this is truly not an exaggeration or unusual. Cashew is widely cultivated in tropical countries such as Brazil, India, and some parts of Africa. However, before it reaches supermarkets, it goes through a complicated and dangerous detoxification process, roasted at the highest temperatures, carefully peeled, and handled using special gloves. Just one mistake in this process and the result could be fatal. The fruit it comes from also has a fascinating appearance. It looks like a plump pear, red or yellow in color, with a seed hanging from the end like an earring. A fruit with another fruit inside, a silent warning hanging from a ribbon pretending to be food. So next time you eat a cashew nut, remember, you're enjoying something that, if not prepared with extreme caution, can kill in just a few seconds. Number 2, Cannonball 3. In the deep forests of South America, where the winds are strong and the trees reach unbelievable heights, grows a fruit that looks like a work of art by nature. Large, round, reddish-brown, with a rough skin, it looks like a rusty pomegranate. It is known as the cannonball fruit, and it's not just its appearance that's deadly. The tree that bears this fruit, called Cropida gunensis, is truly remarkable. Its flowers have a sweet and unique fragrance. And it has a unique fragrance. But what's on the branches is a whole other story. The cannonball fruit can grow up to almost 6 kilograms. And if it falls from a height of 10 to 15 meters, a direct hit to a person's head can be fatal. And there is really no margin for error. There have been many cases of deaths in parks and botanical gardens where this tree is displayed because of its beauty. However, the lack of warnings and proper precautions becomes the cause of accidents. And if you ever decide to open the fruit, prepare yourself for something even scarier. The inside of it is filled with thick pulp that, when it rots, releases a loud and nauseating gas. Its smell is really so strong that it causes dizziness and vomiting to those who inhale it for just a few seconds. There have also been reports of people going into respiratory shock just from being near several rotting fruits at the same time. The scariest part is that it's not edible, but because of its exotic appearance, many people are tempted and try to taste it. Some have ended up in the hospital, while others have survived. The right bull fruit is a warning from nature disguised as an ornament. It's a reminder that beauty can also be brutal. So next time you walk under a strange tree, look up. You might be under your last seconds. Number 1, the tree fruit, brah. On the most beautiful beaches of the Caribbean, a fruit grows that seems to come from a tropical laferritil. It glistens like a small and perfectly green apple, but what most people don't know is that this fruit is truly a death sentence. It is known as the fruit of the death tree, or manzanilla de la muerte, and its scientific name is Hippomene manzanella. It's so dangerous that even just touching it can cause severe burns, as if you dipped your hand in acid. But that's not even the worst part. Just one bite can trigger a chain reaction in your body. It starts with burning in the mouth, followed by swelling of the throat, difficulty breathing, and eventually respiratory failure. A slow, painful, and certain death if medical help isn't given right away. In some coastal areas of Central America and the Caribbean, these trees are surrounded by warning signs. You shouldn't go near or take shelter under its shade when it's raining because drops from its leaves can cause burns on the skin, even with just a little contact. And this is definitely not just a myth. The trees themselves hold a Guinness World Record as the most dangerous tree in the world. Its white sap is so poisonous that ancient people in the region used it as poison for their arrows. And when it comes into contact with fire, the smoke can cause blindness and permanent lung damage. It's even scarier that the fruit has no warning. There's no bad smell and it doesn't look poisonous. Many people have been fooled by the illusion. It looks just like an ordinary apple. And with just one mistake, just one curious bite, the end could come before you even realize it.